Why is it that certain biracial people are considered black while others are not?
I am half black. My biological father is African American. I'm gonna break it down for you because I know what you're thinking. This girl is insane. There's no way. She has green eyes, very light skin, and blonde hair. Like, there's no way.
It's always a pleasure having you on my channel. Amazing viewer, feel welcomed. And today we'll be looking at biracial and the fact that some are being considered white while others are being considered black. And why is that difference? And some aren't even recognized to be either of them. Is there something as mixed race? So here we'll be looking at that. And remember, there's also a video that spoke of 3 races. So there's nothing as mixed race. You can only be black, white, or Asian. Those are the 3 races that are recognized. So I don't know what you thought on this. Don't hesitate to leave me your thoughts. Also, you realize that black people want to recognize you as black at first sight. When they see you, you don't need to explain. They want to see you and know that you are black. And if it's something that you have to explain, then no, they find you like they just realize that you are not black. And white people will also want to see you looking as black. So what about these people who don't look black and they don't look white? Like, they're just in between there. Who are they? And even the identity crisis that they are facing, and how can we erase this, and how can we bring solution, how can we help them identify themselves as who they are? And why should they, if they are to pick, which side should they pick, and why are they put in that position? Why is that? Don't forget to leave your thoughts. Also, watch this video to the end.
Why is it that certain biracial people are considered black while others are not? To give you a really good example, Mariah Carey. If I think back to Mariah Carey, someone I grew up listening to and loving, like, I loved Mariah Carey, listened to all of her music, my whole family did, and she's a legend. So the black community back then used to embrace Mariah Carey. She was on BET, people would celebrate her. And I think, like, when you see people like her with notoriety and are successful, all of a sudden we want to accept her as black and have her a part of that community because it's a win for us. But ultimately she's black and she's white. So why are we accepting some biracial people and allowing them to express and own their blackness, but other people who are biracial are not allowed to do that? I see it amongst the biracial community as a whole, like, not just my own page, but I see an overwhelming theme. It's not just skin tone, because you look at Mariah Carey, you look at Barack Obama, Halle Berry, even Bob Marley, people who have different skin tones, and they're all treated differently according to their fame, their success, their notoriety, who they are. I mean, Barack Obama wasn't our first mixed president. He was our first black president. And this is where sometimes I think our society is a little bit twisted, because no wonder why biracial people have questions about their identity, because everyone's out here stating their opinions and accepting some people and not accepting others. Like, don't you see where the confusion lies? And this is the biracial dilemma. And it's not the biggest problem in the world, but it's something that people who are not biracial and are constantly being told what they are find really annoying and really frustrating. And so a lot of people ask, well, why don't you just celebrate being both? Or why don't you just love being mixed? And I think there's a lot of pressure from society to choose one or the other.
So I hear what you're saying. To say I have a black child is racist and untrue. The reason why I refer to my daughter as black is because if she were to be pulled over by a cop, she's black. If she were to go to the hospital and need medical care, they're going to look at her as black. When she joined the military, she is black. She is listed as a black soldier. No part of this society looks at my daughter and sees anything white. And all the things that she struggles with in these United States of America, she struggles as a black woman, because that is where she has been placed. That is where the society has categorized her, because she is not white. She's not light-skinned. So they see her as black. And finally, because she tells me she's black.
The reasons like that because of, obvious reasons. Some are like us and some are like both. Blake Griffin is like both. But also got to do with your style, your personality, okay? That has a lot to do with it too, as well as what I just mentioned. For example, Alicia Keys is mixed, but people mostly associate her with black culture because she makes mostly music that is popular black genres. And she has a, style that's, black. With the braids, how she dresses, and how she talks. And some have a style that's both. Like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, he has a style that's, Polynesian, and also his style is black. So those are the two reasons why. Your features and your style, those are the two things we base it on.
Race is a social construct. You can be white and also biracial. Halsey is a good example of a white passing and therefore white biracial person.
I am half black. My biological father is African American. I'm gonna break it down for you because I know what you're thinking. This girl is insane. There's no way. She has green eyes, very light skin, and blonde hair. Like, there's no way. Growing up as a kid, I always got, "That's your stepdad, you must be adopted." This video is honestly for educational purposes, to just let you know, like, people can look like me and be mixed. So let me break it down and show you my parents. Alrighty, here is me and my dad. This is my dad, his name is Lance. Here's another photo, it's kind of blurry, but yes, he raised me my entire life from when I came out the womb. Here is another photo of us when I was younger. And this is my mom, so I definitely took after, like, her skin tone, her hair. I'm looking like a weird ass little baby in this pic, but this is my mom, again. Here is her when she was in her teenage years. So yeah, those are my parents. My dad actually had a paternity test after I was born. Not because he thought my mom was cheating, but just to make sure, because I did come out looking super fair, which is absolutely hilarious, honestly. One day somebody asked him, they were like, "How does your baby have blonde hair? That is not your kid." And my dad just made a joke. He was like, "Oh, yeah, I used to have blonde hair when I was a kid too." Like, serves you right for asking a dumb question. I will say that when people see my dad and me next to each other, we do have a lot of similarities in our face. We have the same eyes, not eye color, but there's a photo of us, I can't find it, but there's a photo of us where our eyes are literally the exact same when we smile. Like, the shape of them, one of our eyes gets smaller and one's bigger. And then I'm also very lean and tall and thin, and that is his exact body type and build as well. I did not get, like, my body type from my mom at all. So yeah, I just wanted to share this because it's just been something growing up that people just always thought I was lying, and I'm like, why would I lie about that? Like, that's just weird, you know?
Away from the back, when I walk in the building, people look at me and they say, "That is a black woman," right?
When she walks into a room, she's viewed as a black woman. We're talking about race, not nationality. So when she walks into a room, she's viewed as a black woman. A lot of biracial people don't have that. We don't get that feeling of knowing confidently when we walk into a room what everyone is collectively viewing us as one race. I've never walked into a room and everybody's thinking the same thing. So tell a biracial person to pick a side. Well, what side? Race is based on phenotype, based on how you look. It's based on perception. I have no idea how the world is going to perceive me on any given day. Mixed people often identify as mixed because the world often has very mixed opinions on what race we are. Not to mention the fact that we are mixed. And what's funny is if we did pick a side, a lot of you guys would lose your minds. Because then you would see how many people don't agree with the side that we pick. Because no matter what side we pick, somebody's going to be like, "You picked the wrong side. Like, why the fuck would you pick that side?" That's because there is no side to pick. It really just depends on who you are and how you perceive me in that moment.
Being mixed with black doesn't make you black. Being read as black is what makes you black.
There's a lot of truth to what she's saying, so make sure you go watch the full video. But in the US, there is a difference for black Americans, there's a difference between race and culture. So I'm biracial. Right now I am in Hawaii. And here in Hawaii, I am very racially ambiguous because there's a lot of Pacific Islanders, Samoans who have similar hair as me, Fijians. And so people here in Hawaii, on Oahu, don't necessarily know what I am, but culturally, I'm black. So yes, racially biracial, but for me, culturally black. And that's true for a lot of biracial people. Who are both black and white, or black and Mexican, or black and something else. We may be perceived not black, or where some people know that we're black, biracial black, but culturally it's different. So what she's saying is correct, that when I go different places in the world, people may not perceive me as black, but culturally I am. So there's a lot of nuances in the US. You know, people who are Nigerian and they're in Nigeria, pretty much all Nigerians are black, right? And so they go by tribe, whether they're Igbo or Yoruba. So when they come here to the US, they're just considered black unless there's a large Nigerian community. So again, here in the United States, we have culture and we have race when it comes to the black community. So I identify as biracial, part of the black community is typically what I say. And after watching her video, it really brings about the difference between race and culture when we say black. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know.
You are a mixed person who cannot pass as white. You are a black woman.
Hey babe, so I had to stitch this video because this bothered me so bad. I understand what you're saying, but what you're saying is very harmful. To say that a biracial person in America, and we know in this country most biracial people belong to a white woman, a black man, to say that a biracial person in this country, if they're more black presenting, they are automatically black people. More specifically, if a biracial woman presents more so as black, then she's a black woman automatically, because that's how society might see her. That is so dangerous to actual black women. Like, please stop. Black women, specifically dark-skinned black women, we need to be more protective of our image and be more careful of the message that we're conveying to the world, because we already have a severe lack of dark-skinned representation in the media and music. We really don't see us that often. And when we do see us, we're underrated. We're not blown up as quickly. We don't get celebrated as much. So we already have a lack of dark skin representation. Now we're saying that biracial women who are more black presented, i.e. a Lotto, a Sweetie, they are black women. No, y'all are mixed women. And the thing about mixed people, most mixed people, if you actually talk to them, they don't even want to identify as black. They want to identify as mixed, which is valid. It's black people that are forcing our blackness onto them. We're forcing them to take our identity, to take our place. What the fuck? When you say a biracial person who is more black presenting is a black person, you are saying that a white woman can create a black woman. Hell no. You're saying that a white woman can create a black woman. You're saying that the white women have the Eve gene. You're saying white women are mothers of humanity. Like, are you like, come on now. Watch what you're saying. You saying a white lady can make you and a white lady can make me? All she needs is a little black dick? Hell no. The only thing a white woman and a black man can make is a biracial child. They will never make black kids. Kanye don't got black kids. Kanye has mixed kids. If Kanye wanted black kids, he would have married a black woman. He didn't want black kids. Come on now, watch what you're saying. And I like you, I like your video, so this isn't to come down on you personally. I just want black women, black people, but specifically dark-skinned women. I want us to have more pride in our identities and to be more careful and keep who we are close to us, because we know what we deal with. We know how to walk life as black women. We don't get the option to pick and choose. We are black women, and we cannot give our identities to non-black and biracial women. They are not us. They will never be us. You need to stand firm in your blackness and say, you are mixed, we are black. No, watch what you're saying. No, black is black, mixed is mixed. Two black people make a black person. One black person, non-black person makes a mixed person.
Previous video, I said that black people see biracial people as black, white people see biracial people as black.
This is a very monoracial take, so let me help you out here, bro. You're dead wrong. White people and black people alike see biracial people as black depending on how many black features they have, how noticeably black they are. I can reference that one kid on TikTok. He's got blonde curly hair, white as a ghost, blue eyes, clearly a mixed race kid. He's clearly got black in his family. Logic is not the case. That's not, he doesn't look like that. So for him to walk around saying, I'm a black man, you know who he would get shit from? It's not the white people, because the white people would probably just assume he's mixed race or assume he's trolling. But black people would be asking him to prove it. And then when he did prove it, maybe then he gets treated like black, but we always have to prove it. So why would I say I'm black, I'm biracial? One of those races is black.
Whiteness is constructed off of exclusion of anything else. And blackness is the relegated outlier. A convenient example of this is the fact that there was a word for a person who otherwise had white ancestry, European ancestry, and one black grandparent but there is no comparable word for someone who, like me, who is a quarter genetically European. So I have the equivalent of one white grandparent. There's no word for that. I'm not a quadroon reverse. That's a significant amount of African Americans in general. To answer your question, why we don't call Barack Obama our first mixed president, because he wasn't. That's one reason. I think another, possibly even more significant reason, is how people who are racially ambiguous or biracial and mixed race choose to embrace their cultures. Your first example was Mariah Carey, and say that the Black community wanted to embrace her because of her success. I don't know if you remember when Mariah Carey hit the scene, but she was coming out in Black spaces. She was she came up in the church, that voice. There was nothing ambiguous culturally about Mariah Carey. It's just, she was light skinned. So with Mariah Carey and with Barack Obama, it's not really, are we allowing them to embrace and express their Blackness? It's that's what they did. No one, they didn't really ask. They express their Blackness, one, by being Black, and two, by shying away from or their Blackness, or trying to assimilate fully and discreetly into whiteness. Barack, first biracial president, but he married a Black woman. His daughters are undeniably Black. He does not deny his Blackness. And I think that's what makes him, that's why we see him as a Black president. Let's contrast Dwight Eisenhower or J. Edgar Hoover, who had mixed ancestry, but we don't see them that way.
As we conclude this video, let's look at somebody who has done a research on it. In her PhD, she actually wrote about this very thing of biracials. Let's look at what she has to say. Also, don't forget to leave your thoughts, and also do more research. We are here to be educated on the things that we're living with. Thank you. Enjoy the video.
I was talking with this person today about biracial and multiracial identity, and why the way that they identify themselves is not the way that I identify myself, even though we're both biracial. And so, since I do this for a living, I figured I would explain. And since I'm a PhD student, I had to come with the theories. These are not the only 3 theories used to theorize multiracial identity development, but they are 3 of the most commonly used and 3 of the most recently developed. These models all include different phases or stages, but it's important to recognize that those phases and stages are not linear. People can be in multiple categories, and people can change their categories over time or in different situations. And if you're thinking, whoa, Victoria, you don't just get to choose your race. Keep in mind that racial categorization as a concept was created by racist white people in the 18th century who did not want the races to ever mix. And we still use that categorization system today, though we do have some different language. But that language still primarily uses monoracial terms. That doesn't really tell us where to place multiracial people. So there are 5 stages of multiracial identity development, but keep in mind, since they are fluid, some of these do overlap, and I'll explain. First, we'll talk about multiracial people who identify as monoracial. They might choose to identify singularly with one of their races. Poston's theory in 1990 suggests that the multiracial person will usually identify with the racial group that they are more accepted by. Multiple monoracial identity usually involves identifying with both or all of your racial groups. For example, tennis player Naomi Osaka, who identifies as Black and Asian. The multiracial identity group involves identifying oneself as distinctly multi or biracial. People who identify extra-racially may choose to remove themselves from the concept of racial categorization at all. And it's not only multiracial people who identify extra-racially. Some people just don't want to label their race. Someone with a situational identity may identify differently at different times or in different contexts or around different people. And the situational phase can mean a lot of things, so I'll give an example. Let's say you are a multiracial person who grew up around only white people. You might not identify as multiracial because you only had white people to compare it to. And so you may have never been perceived or did not perceive yourself as multiracial, but as the other race that you are. But then let's say you move to a more diverse city, a new society, because race is a social construct. You may be perceived differently and people might perceive you differently because our self-perceptions are based on ourselves and on other people. And this last paragraph here, some may blend with a primary emphasis on one identity and a secondary emphasis on the other, could have been placed in any of the stages. There are a variety of factors that impact a multiracial person's racial identity, like these. We can talk about them next time.
Thank you for spending time with us. I appreciate that you tuned in, like the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this content. And also remember to leave your thought and share the video to the person you think it might help. Thank you so much. Goodbye for now.